Hello folks, welcome to OTD, also known as On the Deck, where you can get all the sports you need in 10 minutes. My name is Adam Orduna. This is my mom, Gina.
He is a journalist.
And she's the enthusiast.
I am enthusiastic because we are getting to the point where we have some fun stuff in football land to talk about.
Yes, we will continue to talk, or I should just say, our topic today is NFL Week 16 continued, is what I was trying to say.
Well, there's too much to talk about in one 10-minute show.
Yes, exactly. Well, this is a continued show from the Week 16 episode that we did previously, and that's just because there's a lot of new things that have happened within the NFL, within the league, that we have to give you updates on.
Because they're showing out.
They are showing out.
The NFL is acting out right now.
We're in that point of the season where people are getting fired, and there's a lot of things that are at stake. Playoffs, franchises, people are injured, and there's a lot of reasons for people to be upset for what's going on. That's because
you're happy. It depends on how you look at it.
Right, exactly. And so we want to go ahead and talk about those things right now. And I think the biggest news that I definitely want to talk about is the Rex Ryan firing for the Buffalo Bills.
What's his brother's name?
Rob Ryan, or
Rex
Bob, whatever you want to.
They're twins.
Bob, Rob.
They're both out.
He was the associate head coach and the defensive coordinator, but they both got fired, and for reasons that make sense. Some people may say, "Well, I'm not sure about that. You know, this was his second or third year with the Bills, and he didn't get a fair shake." He got plenty of time. Did you expect this firing from the Bills?
Oh, let you finish your question. Oh, yes, I did. And I felt like I was disappointed that Rex Ryan got a shot from when his performance at the Jets. Yeah. Right. After the performance he put up at the Jets, and some of you may have seen him on Hard Knocks, that was a disaster.
Oh, man.
Then you get guys like, and I always go back to this, but it's fresh in my mind, you get Lovie Smith, who gets, the boot over at Tampa Bay and is doing well at Illinois, but he's now in the college ranks. But then you get guys like Rex Ryan and Chip Kelly, who destroy franchises and teams, do a terrible job, show they're behind, they become the show, and they get chance after chance. So after the debacle at the Jets, I was shocked he got picked up by the Bills, and then he did exactly what he has been doing. If you do what you've always done, you're going to get what you've always gotten. And guess what you got, Bills? You got Rex Ryan, who brought his brother over, and you had a terrible defense, which he's supposed to be a defensive genius. You had players who were upset. The best indicator is how the players were. Sometimes players are like hurt and crushed. Lovey left, and people were like trying to put on a good face, but they were hurt. His players were like, "Can't you feel a brand new
performance
day?"
From the Wiz there.
You know what I mean? So no, I was not surprised, and I think it was time.
Yeah.
You know what? The only thing that surprised me, we're not even waiting until Black Monday anymore. Coaches are just chugging it out. They're just going.
It's already happening.
All the time. What about you? What do you think?
Yeah. I wasn't that surprised, and honestly, I think it needed to happen for the Bills. The Bills are a franchise that in the 90s, they were one of the most dominant teams. They made it to all those Super Bowls we all know. We saw that documentary on ESPN,
the Four Falls
of Buffalo. I mean, Jim Kelly, they had a bunch of big-time players that were a part of that franchise, Bruce Smith, etc. That's a franchise that needs football because there's not a lot in West New York. It's just really the football team.
It's cold up there.
It's cold. Niagara Falls is about it, and if you're not there to see that, it's tough up there. So the football team, or at least the pro team, is really a big staple for that area, and when they're not good, it's not beneficial for that area. And so Rex Ryan was really just hired because of his name and what he's supposed to do. And
didn't do it.
And bringing his brothers there didn't do anything. They're supposed to be defense, like you said, and they were getting ran through all year. So I'm not upset. I'm not surprised, and I think it's okay, to be quite honest.
Do you think he's going to land somewhere else?
Unfortunately, I think he probably will.
Hopefully not as a head coach. I mean,
I don't know exactly what's going to happen. I think it'd be good for him to not be landed somewhere, but I don't know. So we'll continue to bring up more updates on that.
Moving on.
Another big topic that we want to talk about is Richard Sherman.
That's my dude, though. I gotta tell you, I love Richard.
Known for really his post-game interviews. Well, he's known for his play on the football field, but we all know he went to Stanford.
Brilliant.
He plays with a big chip on his shoulder for just the way he plays and what he brings to the football team, at least for the Seattle Seahawks. He gets heavily criticized for his slower feet, and people say he's able to get beat and how he's his own coverage corner. He plays hard, and like I said, he's known for what he does on the field. He's also known for what he does off the field in his post-game interviews.
And for these awesome soup commercials with his mom.
Yes, and
I just had to throw
he also
that
does,
in.
What's the
Alberto beef jerky.
Thank you.
Yes. But the point is, he's
what's
a
that
personality.
little voice in my stomach?
Mine's hungry right now.
Yeah, me too.
But the point is, he's a personality.
Right.
In addition to his on-the-play
People
field.
recognize him.
Absolutely.
And he's a big part of that team. He's a big part of why they won a Super Bowl, and he's a big advocate for players in the NFL. And one of the things that happened 2 weeks ago was there was somewhat of a confrontation between him and a reporter.
Somewhat.
And
they got into it.
Yeah, I don't know exactly word for word what was said, but basically it was to the means of Richard Sherman saying this, that he would ruin the reporter's credentials and career for whatever the question that was raised or asked, and Richard Sherman wasn't appreciative of what was going on, and so he kind of went overboard a little bit, and then he did come back and apologize, but he said he's not going to do post-game interviews, and then he said there was a tweet or just a regular interview, something like that happened where he came out saying that you guys would miss me. And so what are your initial thoughts on how all that went down?
Well, my initial thoughts are, don't mess with the Seahawks. Because after Marshawn Lynch told you, I'm only here so I don't get fined, I would think reporters would figure out, you got to approach the Seahawks gently and slowly.
Sure.
I honestly, I don't, on the one hand, we have to have the press. We have to have a free press and free media. And unfortunately, that means some boneheaded press people are going to ask really terrible questions.
Yes.
But some of them are going to ask hard questions that people want to know, that are relevant to the game.
Right.
Performance, give, fans the insight, that sort of thing. And I think it's hard when I see both sides, I guess.
Correct.
I would hate to see Richard Sherman not do the post-game analysis or do his pre-game weekly press conference, but I definitely respect if he, like Marshawn Lynch, just said, look, I'm done. You can see me play, and if you're going to ask me terrible questions, I don't think I need to be up here.
Right. Well,
did I answer it? I don't know if I did.
No, I think you did, and I think to add on to that, it is part of the job. If you're one of these people that is a big-time figure for the NFL, you're expected to answer the questions. And if you don't like what somebody's saying, do the Marshawn Lynch and just say, I'm just here so I don't get fined, and give them reporters nothing to report on.
Hit them with the Belichick.
Exactly. There's a lot of things you can do. Clearly, it was in the heat of the battle. They lost. They beat the Rams, but then they lost to the Phoenix Cardinals. And so it was one of those things where it was like, hey, or the Arizona Cardinals.
I was like, Phoenix,
well,
Arizona.
I was thinking Phoenix Suns because they're both in Arizona. The two pro teams.
They used to be called the Phoenix Cardinals.
Well, yeah. So, but to the point is, he was caught up in the heat of the moment, and I think one of those, it was just one of those times where he just got caught in a bad place. It was a tough loss, and he just needs to be more responsible with what he says. But other than that, I think he was okay. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to really America's team.
Shocker.
As we continue to always talk about them, at least this season, for the right reasons, and that's by winning games. But this incident is more about Tony Romo, and he is now the third-string quarterback.
What?
The big question all week has been, what is Tony Romo going to do? Where is he going to go after this season? What's going to happen, regardless if they make it to the Cowboys, that is, if they make it to the Super Bowl or not? What's going to happen with Tony Romo? He's the highest-paid backup quarterback in the NFL. He's now the third-string quarterback. What's going on there? And you kind of have some more insight about this. What's going on here?
Well, all I'm going to say as a football enthusiast, I think this is great. And it's not personal. I don't know Tony Romo. I don't know Jerry Jones. I don't know Dak Prescott. I don't know any of these people. Right. But I'm enthusiastic about the game that I love, which is football. And watching the Tony Romo shadow hang over Dak Prescott like the vultures. Like
it's a shadow for sure.
It was. You ever seen Snoopy the cartoon and he does the vulture thing? That's what Tony Romo was just hanging over Dak. And finally, when people shamed Jerry Jones enough and the outcry was enough and Dak won enough, they finally just said, look, Tony Romo is not Dak's backup. It's Mark Sanchez. Ooh. So now Tony Romo is basically what you consider third string, which makes him up on he becomes basically an asset for trade.
Squad,
he's practice squad and an asset for trade.
Right.
I don't know what went on behind the scenes because I know that he and Jerry Jones are very close, but at this point, it's the best thing that could happen. Take the pressure off of Dak. Dak's pressure is to win, and that should be always on teams is to win, but not be worried about, if I throw one bad pick, Tony.
Exactly.
Tony,
Sure.
So that part is taken off, and I think it's a good thing. I'm sad for Tony, but he had his shot.
Right.
He's had a great
13
run.
seasons.
13 seasons. proved he not only can't get it done, but he's injury prone. It's time to let him sit down, and I think it's a good thing.
The Cowboys need this. The Cowboys need Dak Prescott, and they need this youthful movement that they've got going on right now. Real quick before we wrap things up here, Rex Ryan or Jeff Fisher as far as a head coach to pick up the reins for whoever would be available.
I'm going to give you my Lindsey Graham. I don't know. It's poison or the knife. I just think I think they're both terrible. I don't think either of them. I think Rex Ryan, Jeff Fisher, and Chip Kelly have no business being NFL coaches. I would take neither of them if I absolutely had to, like if we started a brand new franchise, the On the Deck Falcons or something, and I had to pick one of those two.
The On the Deck Hawks.
I'd probably take Rex Ryan just because he has proven in the past he can win. I know Jeff Fisher's done some winning. I just don't like Jeff Fisher.
Sure.
I don't like Rex Ryan either, but I feel like at least Rex has some personality.
Well, like you said, poison or the knife.
Poison or the knife.
It was more
Which
just
one would you take?
I don't know. I maybe go Jeff Fisher, but I don't think either one is good.
Correct.
So I don't know.
I take poison, you take the knife. There you go.
Right.
That's how we do.
With that, we just want to say we wanted to give you this NFL update because there was a lot that happened here within Week 16, and we're going into Week 17. The playoffs are right around the corner.
Exciting.
And so there's a lot going on here. There's a lot at stake. Home field advantage, first round buys, people just trying to get into the playoffs. So there's a lot more at stake. And so we're really excited about the NFL playoffs. Please continue to follow us on social media. We are live on YouTube, as you already know. YouTube, just type in my name, Adam Orduna. On Facebook, just type in OTD. On Twitter, OTD_ on the deck. She is JRepass _ OTD. Continue to follow us. We want to say thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time, folks. Great. Nice work. Nice work. Nice.